Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful friend card. Count me among all the people who are here for you. It's got a lot of fun detail, and it's a new stamp set, and I think you're going to really like it. We're going to use the Darling Details stamp set. I really like this one. It's got, again, I really am kind of a sucker for fonts, for sentiments that kind of combine script and printing. I just think it's really pretty. And, you know, when I first saw this in the catalog, I thought, oh, come on, you know, I have so many flower stamps. Do I really need another flower stamp? But I got to tell you, once I started seeing this one in action, I just really love the kind of retro feel of the flowers. And, oh my gosh, these dies are fabulous. The Darling Details dies. These are the frames. We are using, we're not using the frame today. As you can see, we're gonna use this little guy, but these are all die cuts, and that was really what kind of pushed me over the edge. So I hope you'll stay with me till the end. I'll show you how to make this card. It's really not too difficult. I really have enjoyed making it, and I hope that you will too. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the details. I will have all this information in the description of the video down below. My name is Linda Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with Crafty Heron Designs. And if you want to purchase any of the items that you see in my video today, you can get that at craftyherondesigns.stampinup.net. And if you do not have a demonstrator, or you are not a current demonstrator, would love to help you unleash your inner creativity. So let's get started. We made this class in one of my cards. I do card making classes in my neighborhood. I'm in Greensboro, Georgia. And this is the kit that each card maker will get. It starts with the thick basic white, 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4.25. I see 4.5. It's not. It's 4.25. So I will change that before I put that in the description. It's a standard piece of cardstock that's just cut in half and scored in half, and it is the thick basic white. And then I have a little strip of just basic white. You know, you can use whatever you want. This one is for the die cut, so I'll show you how to use that. It's about 3/4 by 5.5. And then I also have another piece that's about 3.5 by 2.5. This one's actually probably a little bit bigger, but it's to do the sentiment and the die cutting of the flower. I've got a fresh Freesia strip. This is 5.5 by 1.25. Garden green. This is a scrap for the die cutting. And then this is part of the Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper, and it is cut at 5.5 by 3 inches. I really like this paper. It's got some very interesting, different, everything is different. That's why it's called Delightfully Eclectic. It really, truly is delightfully eclectic. So as I said, we're going to be using the Darling Details bundle. That's the stamp set and the dies. But we are also using, oh, I don't even have it in here, but we are using the dies from the Nested Essentials. So we're going to use this one. These are the Nested Essentials dies. You can see they all nest, of course. There's that one, fits right there. It's also in the new annual catalog, which is the 2023-24 annual catalog. And it's not really associated with a particular stamp set for obvious reasons. I think you can see it's very versatile. I've used it quite a bit, and it gives you that fun stitching that I really like. There are 12 dies that come in this set as well. So let me set that aside, and let's go ahead and get started. So we will start with, let's see, the card base. I always like to go ahead and fold and burnish it, and then I'm gonna set that aside so that I don't get any ink or anything on it. And then I like to start with my stamping. So I will bring in my stamp sets. So this is a 2-step stamping, so that means it's got an outline and it's got a filler. And I'm gonna use the fresh Freesia Ink. It's one of the colors that coordinates with the Designer Series paper. And because this is photopolymer, and especially because it's a stamp that's got a lot of surface coverage, I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Pierce Matte so that I get a really good image. And I am gonna do some stamping off, so I will also bring in a piece of scrap paper. All right, so I'm gonna use this nested die, and I'm laying it on my paper here so that I kind of see where I want to put my sentiment and flower. Probably could go ahead and cut it out first, but this will work as well. This gives me a little flexibility if I don't get my friend, you know, exactly where I need it to be. So I kind of am just eyeballing it. I've got plenty of room on this paper, so I don't need to really worry about it. So I just kind of use that to kind of give me an idea of where I want it to go. And this is Night of Navy ink because it coordinates with that background of that paper. So I did that. And now I'm gonna bring in, and again, I kind of wanted that down in that right-hand corner. And so now I'm gonna bring in the flower, and I'm kind of just looking at, it doesn't have to all fit on inside the rectangle or the square, the banner or whatever, but I'm kind of trying to get an idea, and I can see as I look through it, which is one of the things I like about the photopolymer, if I overlap it a little bit with the friend, which I think will be fine, that's gonna be a good marker for me. That's where I'm gonna go ahead and put it. So I'm gonna remove the die because I'm afraid if I leave the die there, I won't get a good coverage. So I'm gonna go ahead, and as I eyeballed it, I knew that I was gonna kind of overlap that a little bit with that top of the F and the friend. So there we go. And now I am going to fill it. This is the second part of the two-step stamp. I'm going to ink up this background piece. I'm gonna stamp off, and then I'm gonna line it up, and you can see the top has that little kind of, almost looks like the top of a heart. That's gonna coordinate with that. I'm gonna line this up. Again, one of the things I love about the photopolymer is you can see through it, and it doesn't need to line up exactly, but at least it lines up well. And you can see it's really pretty. So it gives you, it looks like two different colors, but it really is just one color of ink. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I do need a second piece, so I'm gonna bring in, actually now that I think about it, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that out of there. I probably should have moved that over, but that's okay, because I always have lots of extra white cardstock. Let's see if this is gonna be big enough for my other stamp. Let's see here. No, let's bring in a bigger piece. There we go. Keep my scraps handy for exactly this reason. All right, so now I'm gonna stamp a second piece. This one is going to be die cut, and right here, I was looking all over for my layering piece. Again, I'm gonna stamp it off. Give me that two-step stamping, and then I'm gonna die cut that piece as well. And then I do want to do some stamping on the inside of my card and on my envelope. So let's bring the envelope first. Same thing. I'm gonna do the outline. Keep it simple. I do like to decorate the envelope, kind of let your recipient know that something special is inside. Stamp off. And I did change the direction a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that. I kind of turned it a different direction for the envelope. Of course, it doesn't matter when you're die cutting, but I just thought it gave it a little more interest. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do some stamping on the inside of the card as well. And let's see, so I think this one, I'm gonna do a little bit like that. And then I also have this other cute little flower that is gonna nestle kind of right on the side there. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink that up and kind that. And once again, the filler. I don't know, I might have not put enough ink on that one. Let's see. There we go. And that is gonna go there. Yes, and then the filler for the other flower. So I'm gonna make this one a birthday card. So my sentiment on here, it's gonna be happy birthday. In my sample, my sentiment said, count me among all the people who are here for you, which I really like. But one of the other sentiments in this set is just a simple happy birthday. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And again, I'm using the Night of Navy because it it coordinates with the paper. I'm lining this up on the top of my Stampin' Pierce mat just to give me a visual. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna just put it down here. I'm gonna put it there. Just something a little bit different. I can still write up here, but I think that's kind of cute, just to do something a little bit different. All right, so now the stamping, let me think a minute. Yep, my stamping is all done. So I'm gonna get rid of all of my stamps so that I don't get ink on anything, and so that I have room to bring in my die cutting machine, because before I assemble this card, I need to do some die cutting. So again, move that over, and I am gonna bring in my die cutting machine, and I need the rest of the plates. Okay. So my sandwich has the two plates, plates 1 and 2, and then the clear plastic base plate. I'm gonna go ahead and line this up. Again, I wanted that little friend to be kind of down there in the corner. So I can do it like that. And, oops, make sure it's over. So I will run that through my die cutting machine. And then I'm also going to die cut the flower here. And I can line this guy up. Again, I'm kind of looking at where that little heart-shaped, no, maybe it's not heart-shaped, but it's kind of got a little, yeah, it's like the top of a heart. And that's the piece that I use to kind of line up and make sure I've got everything correct. And then I've got this piece of garden green and 2 of these little leaves. I think I want to put them on an angle. I don't want them to be parallel with the rollers on the cut and emboss machine, because it makes it harder for them to go through. So there we go. Those don't need to be taped down because it doesn't really matter where on the paper they are. They're not being lined up with anything in particular. So got that and that one. Take that off gently so that I make sure I don't do any harm. And then the last thing is that that lacy detail from the die. So I'm gonna bring in this strip of paper, and I'm gonna bring in the die. So the die has, let's see, can you see this? This is the cutting edge of the die. Can you see how it's a little bit raised, whereas this edge is just flat? That's how you know where the cutting edge is. So I wanna make sure that that cutting edge is entirely on my paper. So this is kind of narrow. It'll be fine because that's not the cutting edge. You probably, want to make sure that you might want to use a little larger, a little wider piece. Probably 3/4 of an inch would be better. This is just a half. We'll see how this works out. I'm so sorry. I have a new pad here, and it's a little more slippery. I need to figure out a way to hold it down so that I don't do that and make you dizzy. All right, so you can see that it comes like this, and you've got the end, so we're gonna have to cut it down. But this part is cut very nicely. So now I'm gonna just snip that off right at the end and discard that piece. All right, so now we are ready to assemble our card. Let's get all this out of here. You can see you get lots of little bits and pieces left over, so it makes a little bit of a mess, but it's kind of fun. All right, so let's bring in all of those extra pieces. I have to cut those, get those out. They come out very nicely. The die's cut really nicely. And I'll bring in this. Okay, so let's see here. So I've got this piece. It's really, I was trying to decide if there's a right side up and a right side down. There really isn't, because there are some little hearts, but these, the point is at the bottom. Yeah, and these, the point's at the top. So, you know, it's not gonna really matter. This is gonna go on this end. I'll just lay it all out first. This one's gonna go here, and this is gonna go in between. But I want to attach these two pieces together before I put that over there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and adhere my Designer Series paper to the top of the card. So I'm gonna do that first. It's cut exactly the right size. Now you could, you know, if you want to cut it a little bit larger to give yourself some wiggle room and then cut it off, you could certainly do that as well. But what I'm gonna do, I think, that part's gonna be covered up. Maybe no, I'm good. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna just go ahead and lay that down on the edge, line up the sides, and there we go. Okay, so now, again, before I put this piece on, I'm gonna put this on here, and I wanna put my ribbon on. I always forget that part. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some adhesive. Probably should bring in my silicone mat, but I don't know where it is. I just had it, but I don't have it now. Oh wait, here it is. Just because I know I'm gonna get a little bit of adhesive all over. So I don't wanna get it on my new mat. So I'm just gonna put a nice thin coat right there. Remember, that's the back side. And then I'm gonna lay this on, and I can kind of decide how much I want. There we go, like that. I didn't let it dry long enough. There we go. There we go. And then I'm gonna attach it to my card front. Nope, not yet. Almost did it. I want to attach my ribbon first. Make sure that's on there. Okay. Make sure give that a minute to dry so that it stays on. And now I'm going to bring in my ribbon. So I was kind of debating on which ribbon to use. I used the one I used in the original card, I really like, but I wanted to try something else. So this is the white shimmery organdy or glittered organdy ribbon, which is really pretty on there. This is available in the online store. It was in the last catalog. It's not in the current catalog, but it is still available. But I thought this was really pretty too. I could do that. It's kind of thick. Or I also have some of this. This is the Fresh Freesia. I think maybe I'll do that one. Nope, I'm gonna try this one. All right, so what I will do is go ahead and put my ribbon on this one, and then I'm gonna cinch it, put a little bow on it to cinch it, so I think it won't be quite so thick on the entire card. So I put a glue dot on there, and then I'm gonna bring another glue dot here, and of course the whole thing is going to be attached to the card. So let me cut that off a little bit. I want to get it kind of taut. All right. And then you'll see when I put the, go ahead and cut that off. Cut that side off. And then when I tie a little bow around there, it'll tighten it up a little bit. I think that'll be cute. All right, so now my adhesive. And top to bottom, all the way on the end. Let's see, so then this, I think I'm gonna just, maybe I'll put it under my ribbon, I don't know. Let's see. This is gonna go on dimensionals. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop those dimensionals on there. And I think I'm gonna move that over. So that's gonna kind of be like that. I'm gonna line it all up before I attach it. That's gonna go, there we go. I like that. So that I know kind of where I want everything to be. I think I'm gonna just use a glue dot on this one, like right about there. And then that one, I'm just gonna go kind of right about there. And that, yep. Let's attach this first. I'm gonna just attach it. I don't want it to be too high, too much raised, because I've got I'm raising up this flower, and then I'm gonna have the bow, which is a little on the thick side. The ribbon's a little on the thick side, so I wanna make sure that I can send this through the mail. So now, take this and tie a knot, which I think I'm gonna like. There we go. So see how it kind of brings it together, and I can kind of slide it up and down a little bit. So I think it creates a little more interest. I like that. What do you think? Tell me in the comments which bow you like better. And of course, you know, the whole idea is you use what you've got in your stash. This is giving you some fun ideas for some new things that you can use, some new products, but you could copy this layout very easily and use one of the many flowers that you probably already have in your set. And then let's bring out some bling. I've got these, this is the Tinsel Gems 3-pack. I really like these. I wrote the names of the colors on the front because I could never remember which was which. There's some of the colors are so close. You know, the Bubble Bath versus the Fresh Freesia, which, you know, they can kind of be used, you know, interchangeably, right? I mean, you can use both together or separately. But it just, I found it was easier for me if I kind of remembered. I wrote them down so I would remember which was which. There we go, a little bit of bling. So what do you think? Happy birthday, friend. And there's our little envelope. I really like this layout. I hope that you do as well. And that you use this for, you know, some other cards. Would love to see what you are inspired to create. Again, my name is Linda Edwards. I'm with Crafty Heron Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and if you would like to purchase any of the items that I showed today, visit me at my online store. The information is in the description of the video. And thank you so much for coming. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up, or if you want to see more of my videos and be more inspired, follow me, and you will be notified when I release videos. I release about one a week, and I'm on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and you can also follow me on my Pinterest page. Thanks again for visiting with me. Bye for now.